Tonight, the Supreme Court has some decisions to make. And by the end of the month, they have to decide on a crucial part of Obamacare: insurance subsidies for millions of Americans. What would it mean if it's turned down? Are there steps you would need to take to secure you and your family, or are you better off? Plus, a big decision on gay marriage. But should it really be their decision? Are all of these rulings just another play to gain more control over you? We must prepare to stand up for what we believe and disagree with the government if we feel it's unjust. The very freedoms we came to America to have may be slowly slipping away. Will we just wait, or will we stand? That and more now on the Glenn Beck Program. Hello, America. Welcome to the Glenn Beck Program and TheBlaze. This is the network that you are building. I want to talk to you a little bit today about some really important things, but I want to, before we get into what's happening in the Supreme Court, let me just say this. Charlotte and the people of South Carolina have just put a giant win in the good guy column. Now, today I was on the radio and I started feeling like, geez, man, we're up against the wall again, because they immediately shifted the argument and went to something else. They're doing everything they can to divide us. That's going to get worse and worse. As time goes on, we are going to feel more and more divided. We have to stick together and we have to recognize where we win. The good guys won last week. We won in Charlotte. Now let's stick together, because some big decisions are being made at the Supreme Court this week, and it could divide us strongly. Some of the things that are happening at the Supreme Court, the consequences of these decisions and the reach of these decisions has the capability to affect our daily life, and the decisions and the things that you have grown accustomed to for decades. But there is a much bigger theme here that we need to look for, and that is the government is on a freight train of control, and it is out of control and picking up more and more steam. Just last week, in a sort of prequel to this week's trilogy, the Supreme Court took one of the most bold moves I've seen in quite some time. In a 6-3 vote, the Supreme Court of the United States struck down a congressional ruling that allowed Americans that were born in Jerusalem to list Israel as their country of birth. That box would have shown Israel on your passport, but now it's just Jerusalem, as if Jerusalem is just kind of like a city with no country at all. I think there are huge ramifications here. Besides the obvious insult to Israel, and I'll get into some of the political things here in a second, I have to say this right off the bat. I think we're going to pay for this one. I'm a God guy, I'm a faith guy. If you're not, that's totally cool. This is one occasion that I wish I was with you, because as a God guy, this is as big to me as when the Democrats denied God 3 times during their convention. That was just not a coincidence that they denied him 3 times. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it was a coincidence. This one, we are told, if we stand against Israel, what will happen to us? This is the United States government. The government, George Washington made a contract. We're in a covenant with God, us and the ancient nation of Israel. Those are the only two that have this kind of a covenant. We will pay for this one. Things are going to get tough. Now, let's look at it politically in the material world. The official United States position is now that Jerusalem is disputed. It's now law. The United States, the president, can now use his official foreign policy, and there is no congressional check to that. This despite the fact that Israel was unified west and east back in 1967. We've not only told our own citizens, we've told God and the entire world that a sovereign nation, an ally for that matter, Israel, cannot choose their own capital. This week, the Supreme Court will rule on a handful of cases. That one was a big one.